So this is my story of how I came to know Azalea. It all happened in this church at St Hugh's. I was sat on the welcome bench over here and this door opened and this young woman came through the door and she looked unkept and she came in like quite nervous and she came and sat next to me on the welcome team. So I knew that she'd not been to this church before, because if you'd come to this church before you'd know to sit with the rest of the congregation, like not here. Anyway, communion started and I asked her if she wanted to come up and take communion and she was like no, and I said well come on, I'll come with you. So I linked her arm and took her up with me, and once she'd taken her sip of wine or whatever it was, she then became chatty and said, oh, that was really nice, I think I could drink a bottle of that. Anyway, we sat down and that kind of broke the ice and we were chatting and stuff, and the service had finished and the vicar at the time kind of was walking out and he spotted her and he said, oh hi, how are you? And you know, she was happy to see him. And I turned to her and I said, oh, how do you know him? And she said, oh, he comes to Azalea sometimes and does talks. And I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't ask her what Azalea was. The vicar's wife came over and said, Jayne, would you mind making tea and coffees in the kitchen? So I asked Nadia, I asked her if she wanted to come with me. And so she came with me in the kitchen, and the first thing that I noticed is that she made a coffee and put like 6 sugars in it. And yeah, she really came out of her shell and she was helping me and we were chatting and laughing, and there was just something really special about her. Anyway, it came to the end and I said to her, like, come back next week and I'll hang out with you. And she was like, yeah, but she didn't come back. I didn't see her. And then my vicar caught up with me and he said, oh, thanks for looking after Nadia, by the way. I said, yeah, that's fine. And he said, oh, have you got any experience with those women? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, oh, you know, I do talks at Azalea sometimes, and it's a charity that help women that have been sex trafficked and sexually exploited. And I said, no, I've never heard of it. Like, how do I get involved in this? And he said, oh, you can, you know, they run by, you know, a lot of volunteers, like, you know, there's a lot of volunteers that help there, you could get involved. So I went straight home that day and went online, found it, and got talking with a woman called Veronica, who called me in and yeah, kind of interviewed me and then offered me some training, some Azalea training, which is like, it's 3-part trainings of like 1 day, but it's over a period of months. And I was accepted as a frontline volunteer. So I started volunteering on a Wednesday evening at Alpha, and the whole time I was kind of looking out for Nadia, and yeah, I hadn't seen her since in church, but I was really looking forward to telling her that she was the reason why I was there. One Wednesday evening she came through the door and I was standing behind where you make tea and coffee, and she kind of stopped and was like, what the F are you doing here? And I said, I'm here because of you. And she actually did say, are you stalking me or something? And then we had like this huge emotional hug, and then I got the chance to tell her that I was there because of her, that she made such an impact on me that I wanted to get involved.